guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are getting ready to ship the Tiguan on out of here because it's going to a frame repair shop. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm putting together all of the parts that the body shop is going to need. So things like the front bumper, the fenders, the radiator support, the fender brackets, the headlight brackets, all of the bolts and hardware that they will need. And once again, why I'm doing this is because I'd like to save some money. I'd like to take care of all of the auxiliary items that the body shop would charge me for as far as labor and things like that. So what I've done so far is I've removed the engine. I've removed everything, freeing up the frame rails. Removed everything from the frame rails, freed everything up for them, and after speaking with the body shop, they said that they could probably save this frame rail right here, straighten it out, but this one unfortunately will have to be replaced. But once again, looking at the subframe underneath, looking at the alignment, everything looks good past there. And so, again, I'm no bodywork expert, but if we look right over here, the frame rail clearly bent over on this side, but back here it looks to be in good condition. And once again, we see that the frame rail had torn off this piece of the apron. So I am hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they can just replace this one and hopefully not even go all the way under the car in order to replace it. Hopefully they could make a splice somewhere over here, maybe even back there. But looking at this one, again, not much damage here. This one is clearly bent out of shape, but everything else seems to look okay. They might have to do some pulling on the fender rails up here on both sides, maybe not. But again, what I've done is I've assembled all of the new parts. I marked them as new and installed them just on this side because on that side it's going to be pretty difficult. But anyway, guys, looking inside the car, we have the headlights back here, we have the grille, the bumper, the fenders, the crash bar, the radiator support, and all of the bolts in their original position. And let's move back here. There we go. That is exactly what an SUV needs to be used for, to be packed full of things, fit everything that we need. And so, as you guys can see, the car is up on jack stands because I took the wheels off because I needed to remove the axles in order to remove the engine and transmission unit. But what I've retained is, since I have not touched any of the suspension components or the subframe, I'm going to be able to put the wheels back on and have it roll out. And so the way this is going to work tomorrow morning is the flatbed truck is going to pull up right here and we will be able to roll out the car. So some of the things I'm going to do in order to prepare, because this car might be sitting outside, it might be sitting in a dusty shop, I'm going to want to protect the interior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to find the positive and negative connections, and I'm going to hook up my jump box just long enough for me to be able to close all the windows. Another thing I did back here is, since the car does not have power, it likes to lock the trunk. And so in order to open it, you have to climb through the interior, but as you can see, it's full over here. And so if you guys can see this, I placed a zip tie and tied back that latch over there. And so what that means is, if I try to lock it, it doesn't lock. It always stays open. So that little zip tie is just temporary for now. so that the hatch does not lock. That's one thing that I did. Another thing that's going to have to happen is obviously the car is not going to have power. So I put some wheel chucks, pieces of wood behind the rear wheels in order to be able to remove the handbrake, the electromechanical handbrake, so that the car will be a free roller. And then the shop will be able to then move it if they need it without having to hook up the battery and things like that. But yeah, guys, so this is the status report for now. And another thing that I'm going to ask the body shop to do is to fix this damage here. If you look at the hood, it is in very good condition, except for right here. This is a steel hood. I believe that this is able to be bent back. Let me know in the comments if this is possible. I'd really like to not get a new hood. But again, I've had trouble with aluminum hoods from Audis, things like that in the past that are very difficult to repair. This being a steel hood, I am a firm believer that this is able to be fixed. But if you have other ideas, let me know. Yeah, in general, guys, I'm trying to save as much possible time as I can for the body shop guys. So I placed all of the bolts in their respective positions as much as I can, everything that they will need in order to piece the car back together once the framework is done. After speaking with the body shop, they informed me that they're going to take some measurements on the inner rails there and make sure that none of that was moved. They're going to take some measurements, find out where the damage starts. I hope that this is where the damage starts, this going forward. I really, really hope. And back here, I don't believe that there's any damage over there. I think it's all right here. So hopefully everything checks out there. I would hate to have to buy a brand new subframe, and it's just going to be a big mess. I don't fully trust the body shop's ability to be able to put the car back together as it should be. I've seen some horror stories. I don't know if it's true for all, but I would really like to make their job as easy as possible and really reduce my cost where I can. So yeah, this is where the car is right now. And it's basically ready to go. Just another update on the inside here. We see that we have a new airbag in the steering wheel. We restitched the seat. It's looking quite good. If we look up there, we have the new curtain airbags installed, patched up, ready to go. Once the tow truck arrives, once it loads up the car, I will follow him to the body shop, meet the body shop guys, show them all of the new components, which are in those bags there with the hardware, explain a little bit about the background and my expectations, and go from there. A couple other things that we're waiting on for this car are the seat belts and the airbag module over there. I sent them off to Safety Restore. And once those airbags come in, that will basically button up the entire interior. All of the airbags are replaced. No other damages on the inside of the car. So at least the interior will be done. Hopefully, when the car comes back, everything checks out in the front, and we will be able to begin the process of putting this thing back together. So yeah, guys, that is the update for now. Once again, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hook up the jump box, close all of the windows, release the parking brake, put the two front wheels on, put the car back down on the ground, getting ready for bright and early tomorrow morning. And I'll try to do some filming as well as I'm following the tow truck, and maybe even at the body shop. So thank you guys for staying tuned, and I will show you the end product when it comes. And I'll also ask the body shop to film periodic videos here and there of any progress that I can put for you guys. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's hope this thing turns out well and is decently cheap. So thanks, guys. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Look who is back. That's right, the Tiguan is back from the body shop. Check it out. Looking almost like a brand new car. Both fenders are on, and I apologize, you guys. I did not take any videos when it was outside, but as you can tell, I have the engine in the way. But the car is inside, and the car is painted, and she is looking good. So let me kind of walk you guys through and show you everything that was done to the car. So I guess starting with the hood, I'll throw up a picture, but this corner right here was bent inward, and rather than getting a whole new hood, since everything else was perfect, the guys at the body shop were able to straighten this out. Obviously, they had to make a little hole right there to bend that back and weld it up nicely. So I'm very happy with that. The hood lines up very well, looks really good. They painted all of it, and it lines up really well. And then to the big part. So I apologize, this guy's in the way. The frame rails. You guys will remember that both of the frame rails were tweaked probably about 15, maybe even 20 degrees to the right. And so the body shop, initially they planned to replace both frame rails, but after doing some investigation, they were actually able to save this one. They bent it back in place, checked everything out, that was good, so they didn't have to do any replacements there. And then for this side, again, it's pretty difficult to tell, but if you guys remember, right where this transmission mount bolts in, that's where the kink was. And so this one they did have to replace. However, they didn't have to replace the entire piece. They just replaced the inner piece, which is this part right here. They were able to separate it, cut it,
and straighten it out and weld it back together. If you guys remember, there was a big tear here. They were able to pull that back, weld it up, add some seam sealer, and replace all of the other parts necessary. They did check the alignment. As far as the strut towers, they were not affected in the crash at all. However, they tried to do an alignment, but since the engine is not in the car, since the car isn't weighed down properly, they couldn't get an alignment, a true alignment. So they said to let them know once the engine's back in how the alignment is. But again, as I mentioned before, looking at the subframe, it looks unaffected. So hopefully that is good. And then, if you guys remember, I provided them this used bumper that had seen some better days, had some holes in it. They were able to patch that up, paint it, make it look nice and fresh. If you look down here, unfortunately, I forgot to let them know to fill these holes in, maybe even these holes, but it is what it is. Yeah, it looks good. Let me step over here and show you guys what is going on. The fenders, they are aftermarket. I could not find any good used ones, and the aftermarket ones were available for a decent price. And then if you look here, obviously this isn't lined up, but they did not replace the bumper brackets that bolt in the bumper to the fender. I have brand new ones that are gonna go in, but if we look over there, nearly perfect alignment between the door and the fender. And then obviously these headlights, this is the original headlight from the car. This headlight, as you can tell right there, it's busted. But I have some new headlights coming in, so that is going to be a project for another day. And then, yeah, so as I was saying, guys, you guys remember I took out the engine, took out everything from the front, got all major body components replaced, such as the radiator support, all of the condenser, radiator, intercooler, transmission cooler, all of that is in good condition. So I slapped that all together, gave that to them so that they could bolt it up, gave them the bumper and the headlights and both fenders and also the crash bar in there that I'll show you guys in a little bit. And yeah, as you can see, some pretty tight quarters. But moving on this side, again, the bumper isn't lining up with the fender. Again, that's because of the bumper brackets, not a big deal. And then coming over here, you guys can see pretty good, pretty good. Not perfect, but I'd say 95%. And once we have everything together, I think it'll be barely noticeable. And yeah, that's basically it. They did take apart the doors. They blended the paint onto the doors just to make sure that the paint looks good. And they seem to do a pretty good job of reassembling everything. But yeah, looking at the car, it is just how we left it. The repaired seat is in here, and we have not done anything on the interior. And yeah, the black interior, the black headliner is going to be going in. But first, we're going to do something about this ugly roof. It's a white car. I really like black contrasting roofs on white cars, kind of like I have on my Audi here. And so we're going to be wrapping the roof very shortly. But yeah, that's about it. So let me tell you guys kind of what the game plan is here. I'm not going to be putting the engine in just yet. And the reason for that is I'm going to be retrofitting factory genuine LED SEL headlights into this, and that's going to require some wiring. wiring running along here and into the car. So it's going to be much easier if the engine was out. And also, as you can see, we have quite an issue here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove and take everything off of the front to give myself some space. I mean, it's really going to cut, it's going to allow us to do some more work up in here. And just, you know, we're going to have to remove the front clip anyway to start putting the engine in. So not a huge deal. As you can see, the engine and transmission assembly here is a parts collector for now, but hopefully not for long. So yeah, guys, finally the car is back. Very happy to have it back. And yeah, progress is soon to follow. All of the major components are here. I'll have to order a couple of smaller things here and there. For example, the hood latch from here is missing. That one is bent, and the sensor, the hood latch sensor, is also missing. Before we put the engine in also, we're going to run the air conditioning lines, hook them back up to the HVAC system. And yeah, guys, I'm very happy. I hope you guys are also happy with how this turned out. I think it went well. If you guys are wondering about the cost was $6,200 for everything we see here. So all of that, what was included the replacement frame rail, included all the measurements and everything else, included painting of the frame rails, included assembly, prepping and painting of the fenders, the hood, the bumper. All in all, I think $6,200 is decent, but let me know, guys, did I overpay or what? I really saved myself a lot of time by pulling the engine. That would have been about $1,000 in itself for the body shop to do that. And they admitted to me that it was much easier for them to get right to work on the car. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Did I do a good job monetarily? Was it worth it? Is this worth $6,200? I guess we will see when the bumper comes off and everything else gets put in and everything gets put back together. We will see. But yeah, for now, that's what we've got. We also have the seat belts, the airbag module. So we're going to be installing those. After we wrap the roof, we're going to assemble the interior, and that is honestly going to be it for the interior. For now, it's going to be fully assembled. So all the airbags have been replaced. The seat has been repaired, and yeah, everything is looking good in here. So with that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are liking what you're seeing. And yeah, now that the Tiguan's back, let's get to work. Let's get to putting it back together. So once again, guys, I appreciate everything. I hope you guys are liking this project. I certainly am. I think it's going to be a great little car to have. And yeah, until next time.